You probably remember from Greek mythology the story of Medusa. She was the ugliest person in the world. She had snakes for hair, and to look upon her, she was so ghastly that it would turn you to stone. And you remember that Perseus was the one who slew her, cut off her head, showed it to the Gorgon, turned it to stone, and saved the day. Well, today I want to talk about the ugliest person that I ever met. What's up, everybody? My name's Matt. I'm the pastor of Gospel Fellowship PCA. We're a Reformed church just north of Pittsburgh. If you're looking for a conservative, Bible-believing church, come check us out, Gospel Fellowship PCA. So the ugliest person that I ever knew was called Miss Elizabeth, and she was part of my church prior down in Florida. She was ugly in every way that a person can be ugly. Physically repulsive, not easy to look at, hygiene, a total wreck. She had a stench about her that made it difficult to be around her, and there was something wrong with her, and I mean that in the kindest of ways. I'm not a clinical psychologist, I can't tell you what it was, but she acted out in the most bizarre ways. Sometimes she would throw herself on the ground in the middle of the church service and create a fuss to get the elders and the deacons to bring her out, and then she'd laugh about it as though she was having a medical emergency or something like that. She would, and this is true, she would pass gas and then laugh about it, and she had this kind of a wink in her eye about it because she knew it got people all upset. She would call the deacons in the middle of the night, try to get them to come to her house. Her house was like a hoarder's nightmare. She was the kind of person, and I'll just admit this because it's true, that people tried to steer around, if you know what I'm saying. And I did the same thing, and I confess it to you. When I would hear Miss Elizabeth's voice, I would often turn around the other way. I did not enjoy being around her, even though I was her pastor. And one day, she had me caught in the corner, and she was talking her normal, garbled gibberish, making very little sense. And all of a sudden, I looked in her eyes, and I saw two things: beauty and ugliness. And what caught me about her eyes was that they were the most beautiful blue eyes that I'd ever seen in my whole life. Have you ever seen the color of the sea on a very calm day when a storm has just gone by? Beautiful blue. And I saw that in Miss Elizabeth's eyes. And I realized two things, one about ugliness and one about beauty. In regard to ugliness, I realized that it was not her that was the ugliest person that I met. The ugliest person was me. It was my heart. It was my wretched, sinful heart. I thought she was ugly all the while. It was I who was the ugly one because of my prejudice and my judgmental attitude and the hatred and the arrogance in my heart. I realized that I was truly the one of the two of us who was really ugly in my sin. And then the other thing has to do with beauty, because when I saw those blue eyes, I thought immediately of the Imago Dei, Genesis 1:26 and 27. You know this doctrine, right? That God created human beings in his own image, male and female, he created them, says the scriptures. And we have the image of God in no other creature, not the angels, not the archangels, the seraphim, the cherubim, not the mountains, the Himalayas, the Galapagos Islands, the Andromeda Galaxy. As beautiful as all those things are, only human beings are said to have the image of God. And that's true whether you're born or whether you're unborn, whether you're black or whether you're white, whether you're leftist or rightist or born rich or born poor. You have the image of God. And when I saw those steely blue eyes, I could not help but think of the love of God and Christ and the gospel, how the very doctrine of justification, the central doctrine of the Christian faith, that Christ died to take away our sins, means that when God looks upon us, when the Father looks upon us, he sees, because we are his elect, because we have been saved by grace through faith, he sees us as though we had the very righteousness of his Son. So God, in justification, looks past the ugliness of our sin, and instead he gazes upon the beauty of the righteousness of his Son imputed to us by grace through faith. And that is the good news of the gospel. Thank you so much for checking into the short story. If you want to pass it on or use it in a sermon, go ahead. I'm the wretched one. I'm the ugly one, but I'm so thankful that I have a beautiful Redeemer in Jesus Christ. Thanks for checking in. Love you lots, and we'll talk to you later.